back to Move Me Yoga, Food and Life. Just thought I'd share my observations with you this morning as I'm driving along. I went to the gym this morning and they had the TVs going in the gym, and as we mentioned before, we haven't owned a TV in about 6 years, which means we haven't sort of watched it in about that time as well. But when you're at the gym, you know, there are three there in your face, and in between sets I was just observing some of the dribble that was, you know, being broadcasted. So I thought I'd share some of my observations with you as part of our life element of what we do. So the first one was that show, I think it's called something like Ready, Seti, Cook or something like that, and the woman was showing how to make scrambled eggs, which, if you didn't already know, an egg is the menstruation of a hen. So that's what you're eating when you're eating scrambled eggs. Anyway, so she's showing you how to make it, and she says to the co-host, the key to making good scrambled eggs, fluffy scrambled eggs, is to add cream. And of course, cream is a bovine mammary secretion from a cow, obviously. And then she's frying that up in butter, which of course is another bovine mammary secretion product. So this thing is just a heart attack on a plate, not to mention utterly disgusting, eating the menstruation of another animal. So that's observation number one. Then what else did we see? Oh, they're making, on some entertainment channel, making all this hoo-ha over some celebrity called, I don't even know how to pronounce it, Kimye, K-I-M-Y-E, never heard of her. I actually wasn't even sure whether it was the male or the female. Anyway, so apparently she's having some $7 million wedding in Florence, $2 million of which is for her wedding dress. And I just couldn't help but think that in India, where there are about 1.2 billion people, give or take, there are actually about 400 million more males than there are females. 400 million. Now, it's not that in India there's some freak occurrence of more males being born than females. No, it's 50-50 like there is everywhere else in the world. But what actually happens in India, the female, when she gets married, her family has to pay for the wedding and the dowry. And the average cost is about $12,000 US. Now, given that most families earn less than $2 US a day, $12,000 is a death sentence for many families, and for many female girls who are born and then subsequently killed by their parents because they can't afford to pay for the dowry and the wedding. So that's the reality for millions upon millions of people worldwide. And then there's all this hoo-ha and, you know, fanfare made about this extravagant, grotesque, obscene $7 million wedding by some American celebrity who I don't even know, and yet obviously enough people are following or paying in order to acquire, shall I say, steal that kind of money. Anyway, that's just the second observation. Third one was some guy on the Today Show being interviewed about fitness. Now this guy, he looked like one of the least fit people I could imagine. You know, bags under his eyes. Anyway, just not a picture of health. And he's talking some dribble about how sugar is going to kill our kids before heart disease and cancer. Now, this is part of the meat, dairy and egg industry propaganda that's being propagated at the moment everywhere all over the media, using sugar as the scapegoat. It's a smokes and mirrors technique to keep people from thinking about the real problem, which is actually eating animal foods. Because eating animal foods has been linked to 14 of the 15 top killers in the world including the top two, heart disease and cancer, being primarily caused from saturated fat, cholesterol and protein from animal foods. And of course, if the meat, dairy and egg industry can get everyone to think that it's not their products and instead, oh, it's the big bad evil sugar, oh, then that'll get parents all concerned and up in arms over, you know, watching their kids' sugar intake. Sugar is not the problem, folks. In fact, the cells of the human body run primarily on glucose, and the cells of the adult human brain run exclusively on glucose. And glucose is, of course, pure sugar. The problem is that the high levels of fat in the standard American or Australian diet, the SAD diet, actually the fat coats the cells and prevents the sugar being able to enter the cells. And then what happens is the sugar remains in the bloodstream, and then that elevates blood sugar levels. But in the absence of fat in the diet, or having less than 10% of your total daily calories from fat, the cells are not coated in fat, and the sugar is able to easily be transported into the cells which require them to function and for energy for our bodies. So folks, the problem is not sugar. Don't buy the propaganda, and it is complete and utter propaganda. Keep the fat in your diet to less than 10% and sugar will not be a problem. Sugar is your friend. And the fourth and final observation was about the recent shooting massacre in, I think it was California. And tragedy as it is, you know, one of the, I think fathers of one of the victims was saying, you know, how long before this insanity stops? And I think, you know, if he's really asking the question, we should start looking at, you know, alternative solutions. And by that I'm talking about, not many people in the world are aware that we murder, kill, slaughter 150 billion innocent, sentient, living beings in the form of non-human animals each year for food alone. 150 billion. That's 3,000 animals a second worldwide. 3,000, 3,000, 3,000. With numbers like these, we need to realize that killing animals for food is not simply part of our culture as human beings, it is our culture. So with a culture like that, when we're sowing seeds of violence, murder, and what have you, day in, day out, worldwide, why are we then surprised that killing is part of our society as well? So is it any wonder, if we're sowing these seeds of violence, that we're reaping violence in our lives and in society at large? So if we're going to address what's happening to us as a human society, we need to look at what we're doing as a human society. So I would encourage everybody to switch off the idiot box and seek alternative sources of information. So what has worked very well for us over the last 6 years is actually downloading and watching documentaries. Documentaries about offering different perspectives to the issues of our culture and our society, different perspectives to those offered by mainstream media, which are actually puppets of the corporations selling the products that they want everybody to buy. So use logic, use intuition, seek alternative sources of information in the form of non-mainstream documentaries, and also non-mainstream news websites. Inform yourself. Information is power, knowledge is power, and knowledge applied becomes wisdom. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it the thumbs up. Leave your comments and questions below. We would love to hear from you. Hopefully this generates some interesting discussion. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and also to our website for updates at movemeyoga.com.au. Been a pleasure. Look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks. Bye.